So he was like working on the arms way more than the legs. He looked a little bit like Johnny Bravo for a second. Like he was like really big on
arms
top.
for legs. Look at that. It's the 15-Minute Morning Show podcast. We got a crazy, exciting, weird, different day today. Of course, in the Serial Killers podcast room, there's Scotty B. Hi, Scotty B.
Hi.
And, of course, over here, Gandhi hanging out with Andrew doing something
It's work stuff, I promise.
nefarious
Yes.
things going on. Danielle is here.
Hello.
And here's Garrett. Hello. And, of course, our special guests, Carla, Marie, and Anthony.
Hello. We are not doing work stuff, and it is nefarious.
It's always nefarious, is it not? Hey, so, no, you're on camera. We got you. Don't you worry.
It's fun to wait.
So, welcome back to New York. Of course, they're both from here. They started at our show. Now they've got their own shows going on. So, welcome back. What are your thoughts so far being here with your family this morning?
Well, I haven't actually seen most of my family. I got here last night, and with the time difference.
This
You're the worst.
Said family.
He means this place. I love, like, it's our favorite thing to just come back and see all of you guys at the same, like, I hang out with people on the show individually, but when you're around everyone together, it's such like a different vibe. It's fun.
Elephant in the room time.
Uh-oh.
Can we look at Anthony's muscles? Look at those guns.
Flex.
Take your shirt off.
I've been flexing this whole time.
But look at that. So, well, Carla Marie, you sleep with him. I mean, how long has this been going on? I mean,
Next to.
I'd say for what, like the last 2-3 years, he's like really been working out. But ironically enough, when he tore his Achilles this June, he like went even harder at the gym. So he's like working on the arms way more than the legs. He looked a little bit like Johnny Bravo for a second. Like he was like really big on
arms
top.
for legs.
But it's actually been really cool to see how he's like, I'd hurt myself, but I'm still gonna, like Danielle witnessed it.
Oh my gosh, when we went there for the All-Star game, for the MLB All-Star game, we stayed with them. And he did not let that stop him. He was doing everything. And we would go someplace and we'd be like, maybe Aunt, can you handle it? I'm good. Puts the boot on, he's out there. Actually, and he had this really cool device that I never saw before.
It's called the iWalk 2.0.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, so we had to meet them for lunch one day for brunch. What's the name of that restaurant in Seattle?
We were at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel.
Okay, so they walk in, and Alex looks over and says, "Did they amputate Anthony below the knee?" That's what it looked like. Because it's a little peg leg thing you walk on. You don't see from your kneecap down, so it looked like you had an amputation.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I love that.
The way that it works is if you hurt your foot or your Achilles or something, you basically lean your knee on this knee board thing, and it has a little peg leg, and then you just hop around on it instead of having like the little cart that you would use.
Yeah.
This is a little more mobile.
Like you're a pirate.
Yeah.
But I did think you had lost it below the kneecap.
It looks like that in the pictures.
Yeah.
I didn't realize when I posted my first picture on either Instagram or Twitter or whatever it was that the angle that I took that picture from legit made it look like I had no leg.
Yeah.
Where people are like, oh my gosh,
Oh my
what
God,
happened?
so many people. I was getting pictures. What happened? Why did they amputate? What's going on?
Someone yelled at him once they realized that it was actually his Achilles. Someone yelled at him and was like, "How dare you do that to people and make us think that your leg..."
Fuck them.
They thought that I was pretending to lose my leg for sympathy likes. That's what they legitimately thought.
I hate people like that. Anyway,
happens.
moving on. Hey, so welcome back to New York. Of course,
Thank you.
Christmas Central, other than
It's
the
the
North
best.
Pole. I mean, even though you guys are both from New Jersey, you still get a little charge coming into the city during Christmas time?
We were driving in this morning. We picked up Andy on our way in, and we're coming down 6th Ave, and I was like, oh my God, look at Macy's. I was like screaming about seeing Macy's.
It's
like
beautiful.
Seattle's great, but Christmas time, they just don't. We just don't do it. Like the lights, it's not the same as here, where everywhere you go, everyone is trying to one-up someone else with their Christmas lights. It's so different when you're in New York for Christmas.
If you want to go see the tree, this is a good time.
I think I might.
9:30. I went the other morning. There was nobody at the tree. It's perfect.
I'm
There's
really
a reason why, because it's light.
Yeah. You could still see the lights.
Yeah,
I
you can
swear.
still see 'em.
You really could.
Gandhi,
Yes.
you've been here for what, 5 years?
Yes.
Are you still getting a charge out of New York City at Christmas time? I mean,
Every single time. Every single day. Yeah. I love it here. I don't, I travel all the time in December. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay here because it's so magical. And then, of course, everyone from out of town wants to come see you during this time. But watching yesterday, the holiday special that you did with Jimmy Fallon, I got to watch it from my window and I was like, this is just the coolest shit ever.
that's right. Your window in Jersey City, New Jersey,
Yes.
in your apartment building,
Yes.
you can see the Empire State Building.
Yes. Best views of New York are from New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
You know, Scotty B, you grew up in Long Island.
Yes.
On Long Island.
Yes,
Sorry.
thank you.
So, did you ever used to sneak into the city when you were a kid?
I did. I remember coming in when I was 13 years old on the train by myself.
What?
Did your parents know you were coming in?
Nope, never told
You were
them
coming in
about
to go
it.
to a porn store, weren't you?
Probably.
I did stop there. There used to be some great ones in Times Square.
I believe you.
Yeah, they cleaned that place up now.
They
Thank
Disneyfied
God.
it.
Now they have
I know.
Elmo.
I mean, I came in because I
Dirty
like
Elmo.
won radio contest and had to pick up tickets. But during the holiday season, I would just stroll and be like, "Oh my god!" Like I was this young teenage kid just walking around in awe,
It must be just amazing.
and
as a
I'm
kid.
still in awe.
Well, so
Yeah.
you, Carter Marie, Anthony, and Garrett. I mean, you all lived outside Manhattan proper,
Right.
But coming in, Garrett, did you ever sneak in? I'm sorry, I'm
Several
interrupting
times.
your eggs.
I haven't eaten all day. Like,
You've been very busy.
He's working.
His blood sugar.
I can't hear Garrett.
Oh, good thing,
How
'cause-
about now?
How about now? There we go. I would sneak in, especially during high school, and that's where I started to get my first fake IDs down in the village. And then I would lose the IDs, and then for some reason I was stupid. I would put my actual address, but I would live in Connecticut, but they would send it back to my Staten Island address, and my parents were like, "Look what came in the mail."
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Danielle,
Yeah.
growing up in the Bronx, did you ever come down to Manhattan and get crazy?
All the time.
Because you have the easiest access actually.
Yeah, it was easy. And I would come down all the time with I remember my grandmother taking me down to see Chorus Line for the first time on Broadway. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. New York is so awesome. And I was a little kid.
What about sneaking down on your own?
No, come on now. Me sneak on my own? No, they didn't.
Really?
No.
Oh my God, I would have been here
Yeah.
every
No.
fucking day,
I don't,
man.
even think I don't even think I thought of doing that for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know.
Did you guys ever come in, Carter Marie, Anthony?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. One of my earliest memories actually is only 1 year we ever did this as a family. My family came to New York on Christmas Day, which if you're from here, you know it's like the stupidest thing you can do because it's wildly packed.
Yeah.
And I have two younger brothers, so I was probably 8 or 9, and I had very, very young siblings. And one of them got detached from our group. Now we were at the tree on Christmas Day, and the memory I have is my mom going full mama bear and like pushing people out of the way, and some guy, I guess, like tried to tell my mom she was being rude, and she whipped her head around. She's like, "I don't know where my son is. You shut up." And that's all I remember. And he was like,
Wow.
"Oh,
You
okay."
saw it happen.
Oh yeah, she was ready.
How old
she
were
was,
you then?
I was probably 8 or 9.
Well, you're the only 9-year-old boy with a beard.
Yeah, that's true. It was a mustache at the time. It was a mustache at the time.
What about you, Carter Marie?
I definitely used to sneak in high school. I used to take the PATH train.
See, I can see you and your maybe your sister or your girlfriends coming in and getting into trouble.
Yeah, we would just like walk around the city because that was the cool thing to do. But even now, like when I'm coming, like yesterday, my parents were like, "Be careful tomorrow." I was like, "What happened?" They're like, "You're going into the city." Like growing up in New Jersey, my parents, like if they have to come to New York City, it's a whole thing. They don't want to deal with it. They can't stand it. They hate it. Where I'm like, it's the city. Like the fact that I worked in New York City was mind-boggling to them because they would never do that. The idea of having to cross the river and be in this dangerous city is mind-boggling to them.
I get that. We know people. I've met people from Hoboken, for instance. It's just one little PATH train ride away from New York City.
Yeah.
They haven't been into the city for 25 years or more.
Wow, that's crazy.
There's no
to
need
me.
for them. There's like everything we have is right here in New Jersey. Why go over there?
What about you, Elvis, when you
Yeah.
come on a vacation? Like, did you sneak out of the hotel room? And
I was very young then, but no. But when I was in college, I would come here with friends, and we had a lot of fun.
I bet you
We'll
did.
leave it at that.
You know what's cool now is like
What?
is me bringing my kids into the city and showing them all the things that made me excited.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to watch their faces as they walk around Christmas time, like looking up at everything.
I love the fact that they appreciate it like I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't take the city for granted because anytime I see something, I'm like, oh, this is still so cool.
I still think
Like,
it's so cool
still
that I
live
work
here.
in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm like, Midtown Manhattan, we go through Times Square like every day. We see
Yeah.
these lights. We see all this stuff past Radio City. It's amazing. But can we Sky said that the ice skating rink at Rockefeller Center is the most expensive ice skating you'll ever do in your life.
Well,
I did it once.
Well, it's because they do the tickets based on popular times. If you want to go at 7:30 in the morning, it's like $40 or something like that.
But that's still crazy.
It is crazy, but that includes the skates and everything. But the later in the day and more popular times, it's expensive. Like I want to bring the kids in next week, and I'm gonna pay. Like my neighbors pay $275.
No, it's also just people who
$69.
who have never been on ice skates before. Like you're gonna break a leg doing this because someone from a random city who's never been on ice skates is gonna do it at the tree.
But you're gonna
and
break
take
it.
you
You're gonna
out.
break it under
No.
the tree. It's gonna be super cool.
Magical.
Yes, I broke a limb under the tree.
Gandhi, what about you? Did you come to New York as like a kid?
Yeah, I came when I was in 8th grade.
So hold on. Thank you, Deanna, for getting me picking my nose just then. It's been itching. It itches. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. No, I came in 8th grade, and it was the most overwhelming, awesome, so many lights and so much to do, and it was so expensive. And my parents were like, oh my gosh, you order Chinese food here and you don't get the rice with it? That's separate? This is crazy. And then I thought, well, that's a chaotic place. I'll never be there again. And here we are.
Yeah, it's the only place that would hire you.
Yeah.
That's
The
why
only
I'm
place.
here. That's the reason I came to New York. No other radio station would hire me. This is the only job I could find.
Oh,
Which
really?
is wild.
Pretty solid shot.
The number one place to come and work
But it-
for
It wasn't number one
It
then.
wasn't.
Oh, it
Yeah.
wasn't?
No.
What was it?
What do you mean number one? Well, the station
number
wasn't
market.
number one.
The market
but I thought
was.
the market was number one.
Yeah, I never wanted to live here.
Oh. All right.
But now I'm here. I'm like, okay.
It is. You guys were talking about this with Cord Overstreet this morning. New York City is not a place where you are comfortable. It's just not like a, hey, let me go relax type of city. It's very hard. It's not for the faint of heart. It's expensive. You walk everywhere or take a train. It's just, it's wild. This is still, it's been 5 years, but it's still so different for me all the time. Even from Boston. Like,
Well, compare this to Boston. Compare it to Seattle.
Oh, you can't.
yeah, I used to drive in
Yeah.
Boston. I'd pull up and park at places.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You know, when I first moved to New York City, I'd drive my car. I'd park it on the street.
Did you?
You'd have to wait for the parking laws to change at 3 p.m. The opposite side of the street parking, and you'd rush to your place or stay in the car just to make sure you didn't get a ticket. Absolutely.
Even just driving here, it's like an obstacle course. It's the craziest. There are people popping out at you, people throwing things, potholes.
Well, it's
lights falling.
working a video game. And
It's like Mario Kart. I love when I have my mom in the car with me.
Dodging.
She's like, "What are you with this? Danny, this was horrible." I'm like, "No, this is awesome."
Driving for
Seattle,
the first
what's-
time in the city was so
I'm sorry.
scary.
I'm talking. I'm sorry. I'm talking.
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. What were you
I
saying?
got a
Go ahead.
speaker this big in here. I didn't know what's going on. I was just saying, driving for the first time in the city was so
yeah.
scary.
It's not though. I think driving in the city is easy because you have to pay attention.
Well, it is
can't
now.
go
But when you're
fast.
18,
You know what? It is worse now because of the bike.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they don't give a shit. They come out of everywhere. I'm
So
like,
tell us
what
about
the-
Seattle. What's it like living there?
I think it's probably more similar to Boston, where like I can drive places and park. Like that is what's wild is that you can park in front of places, but we don't have public transportation. Like there's a bus. I've taken it once in 8 years of living there. Once. We don't have public transportation, so that's what's super frustrating.
Wow.
But I will say this. The funny thing when we moved to Seattle was everyone would say the same thing. They go, oh my God, aren't people here so much nicer than they are in New York? And my answer was always, absolutely not. People, especially, you can take this with any West Coast city, not just Seattle. People are nice, right? They're not going to curse you out in the middle of the street because you can get cursed out walking around New York and probably even Boston too.
Oh, yeah.
It's an East Coast thing. People will tell you if you're in their way. But the cool thing about New York is it does get a bad rap for being kind of in your face and loud and whatnot. But if someone's walking down the street here and they ask you for directions and you happen to be walking in their direction, you'll walk with them. And you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going 4 blocks down in that direction. I'll show you where you can make the left. New Yorkers are nicer than people give them credit
Yep,
for.
I
We're
agree.
kinder,
Yep.
Yeah.
but we'll also tell you if you're standing on the top of the subway stairs taking a picture like an asshole, we're going to tell you to get the fuck out of the way.
You know where you stand with us. And here's the thing. You know what? It's all because of living in wherever you live. You see movies about New York. They're all based in New York. And so the characters in the movies are usually robbers, drug dealers,
Rude.
or rude.
Someone from the Bronx.
But you know
Hey,
what?
hey, hey.
But yeah, no, you know where you stand with a New Yorker. I think that's premium. I
But
like
when
that.
you come from this area and then you move to a quieter city, you're like, you're either aggressive, abrasive, or you're like this magical character, and no one can understand how you're so outgoing and so wild and so witty. And I'm like, no, I'm just like everybody else from there. But here, where everyone is so much more subdued in Seattle, a lot of tech workers just like coding, we're like these boisterous, wild elves that come out of nowhere.
Really? You two are like the obnoxious critters on the corner?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome home.
Thanks for letting us be here.
You always have a home with us, as long as we're here, but they may fire us tomorrow.
Well, we'll go wherever that is.
Then you're homeless. Well, everyone say ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Thanks for watching.